beginning with this new president that we have, that could be President Romney, that we need to have a one-year moratorium on the implementation of all new regulations. Now, I'm not opposed to regulations. I recognize that some are necessary. But we do know one thing about regulations. They increase the cost of doing business. And that increased cost of doing business isn't born on the backs of the businesses on their own. It's passed down to the working men and women of this district, of this state, and of this country. And it's too much. The biggest regulatory burden that companies have is this healthcare reform bill. Now, to me, again, I think that the problem with healthcare is it's too expensive. And as I spoke a few minutes ago, nothing's been done to lower costs. And I think there are a number of things we can do. I'll speak to two. I think that we should allow people to buy insurance across state lines. It's going to allow insurance companies to compete for our business by lowering their premiums but still maintaining the quality of care. I think that there needs to be tort reform. $80 billion over 10 years, as Senator Harry Reid told us, is just a drop in the bucket. That tells you a little bit about just how far we've come when $80 billion is considered an awful lot of money. But the real savings will come when doctors don't have to practice defensive medicine. So, in short, depending on what the Supreme Court does, I hope that on the first day in office, President Romney gives a waiver to all 50 states who want to take a waiver and opting out of this health care plan. They did it back in 1996 under President Clinton with the welfare reform bill. 53 states opted out. But they were told that they needed to come up with their own solutions. And the innovative practices that came out of these states, like Michigan and Illinois, was amazing. And it was where decisions should have been made. Decisions, state solutions for state problems. So, I'll finish with this. This is going to be a long and hard campaign. It's not going to be easy. It's difficult to run when you run from your record. And what we're seeing now, we're beginning to see, is the narrative that's coming out of the Democratic Party is that the GOP is at war with women. And I find that funny, because if you really want to see who's at war with women, all we need to do is look no further than the economic policies that have come out of this current administration. With unemployment rate over 8% for 36 plus months, a disproportionate number of these people unemployed are women. So women have suffered more than anyone else in this economic downturn. But it's going to be tough, and it's going to be difficult, and we're going to need help. And I was telling Frank a few minutes ago that, it's tough in this country because we who we are because we do things on our own, and we don't ask for help. But it isn't something we can do on our own. So I ask everyone here to please get involved. Tell your friends, tell your family, direct people to our websites. If you can donate, donate. One thing I learned from my last campaign is that if there's three legs to a campaign, it's the political organization, it's the candidate, and it's the financial organization. And despite raising over $400,000, we still were outspent by Representative Saugus by 7 to 1. In the last week of the campaign, she spent $1.1 million on TV to my $62,000. So what happened was the good representative was able to define the lens by which I was viewed. But we're not going to let that happen again this time. We're working very hard, and we're spending a large percentage of our time, as difficult as it is, because the best part about this campaign is going out and meeting folks like yourself. We're spending more time making fundraising calls and having events. So I encourage you to go to our website, jongolnik.com. I'm certainly happy to take a few questions now. I'll tell you this in closing, though. I don't know everything, and you aren't always going to agree with me. But for those of you who watched my last campaign, there isn't anyone that's going to work harder for the people of this district than I will. So with that, thank you, and if you have